Wall Street just automated your entire career and called it a productivity tool. In late May 2025, JPMorgan Chase confirmed that its internal LLM Suite has been deployed to more than 200,000 employees. Not a sandbox, not a research beta. A full production rollout across the largest bank in the United States. And the financial machine learning community is sleepwalking through the most important inflection point in a decade. The villain here is not JP Morgan. Give them credit. They are doing what every rational institution should do. The villain is the rest of the financial industry pretending this is incremental. Pretending that bolting a chatbot onto an existing workflow is the same thing as what JP Morgan just did. Because what JP Morgan built is not a chatbot. According to reporting and the bank's own public statements, this system handles research summarization, document analysis, and is expanding into trade idea generation and risk assessment. They are running transformer-based inference against one of the deepest proprietary data corpuses on the planet. Decades of internal research, trade data, client interactions, and they are doing it at a scale that makes every other bank's AI pilot look like a science fair project. Here is the proof, and it comes in 3 parts. First, retrieval-augmented generation at institutional scale. RAG is not new. But RAG against a proprietary knowledge base containing JP Morgan's entire institutional memory is a fundamentally different animal than RAG against public web data. When your retrieval layer can pull from 40 years of internal credit research, macro analysis, and deal documentation, the quality of generated output is not even in the same category as what a retail investor gets from a general-purpose model. The information asymmetry that already existed between JP Morgan and smaller firms just got multiplied by a factor that no one wants to quantify publicly. Second, inference cost economics. Running large language model inference for 200,000 users daily is extraordinarily expensive. The fact that JP Morgan is absorbing that cost tells you everything about their internal return on investment calculations. They have done the math on what it costs to run a junior analyst through a research workflow versus what it costs to run that same workflow through an optimized inference pipeline. In my analysis, the inference pipeline won, and it was not close. When a bank this size commits GPU compute at this scale, they are not experimenting. They are replacing. Third, the fine-tuning moat. JP Morgan has been investing in AI research for years. They have published papers. They have hired hundreds of machine learning engineers. The models inside LLM Suite are not off the shelf. They appear to be fine-tuned on domain-specific financial data, which means the weights themselves encode institutional knowledge that no competitor can replicate without the same data. This is not a software advantage. This is a data flywheel that compounds every single day the system is in production. Every query, every correction, every user interaction makes the model better and the moat deeper. If you are watching this and recognizing that the industry is splitting into 2 camps, those who automate and those who get automated, then you already think the way we do. Subscribe. We are not going to soften this for anyone. Now the strongest counterargument is obvious. People will say that finance is relationship-driven, that LLMs hallucinate, that regulatory requirements demand human judgment. Fine. Hallucination rates in constrained RAG systems with verified retrieval sources are dramatically lower than in open-ended generation. And relationships matter right up until the moment your competitor delivers the same insight 3 hours faster, because their system ran inference while your analyst was still reading the primary source document. JP Morgan is not eliminating humans. They are redefining what humans at a bank are for. The humans who remain will be the ones who can direct, evaluate, and override AI output. Everyone else becomes overhead. That is not a prediction. That is what the deployment of LLM Suite to 200,000 people looks like when you read between the lines. So here is where we land. The largest bank in America just made the single biggest institutional commitment to large language model inference in the history of finance. They did it quietly. They did it while the rest of the industry was still debating whether to approve ChatGPT for internal use. And the gap between JP Morgan and every bank that hesitated is now measured in months of compounding data advantage that cannot be closed. So answer me this. If JP Morgan's LLM Suite can summarize, analyze, and generate financial research faster and cheaper than a human analyst, should we stop pretending the traditional analyst role has a future? Or is there something irreplaceable about human financial judgment that no amount of inference can touch?